I know I've said this before, if you've been to any of the seminars, I've said this many times, but people often have difficulty thinking of criticisms for the article. In other of these recordings, I've talked about how you might look at the data in multiple ways when you've got graphs and tables, all very important. It's very important to tell stories about data, right? And in other videos I'll be talking about kind of reading through data and talking about that there's already one on graphs, there'll be other ones to come soon. But one of the things I want to talk about today is that it's to address the issue of people finding it difficult to criticise articles. And this is a very general point, not a specific point, so there's no specific tips and techniques in here, just something very general. You cannot criticise something effectively at all unless you really understand it. And really understanding it is going to mean reading the article many times. It's going to mean going over the data many times, using techniques that I'll be describing in other videos. But you've properly got to be able to rephrase exactly what's happened in your own words. Very important. And if you like, use the analogies and things like that that I've described in other recordings. So read through the article several times, try and sketch out a hypothesis. In other recordings I've thought, is it trying to identify a thing, or are we trying to explain a thing? Really, you need to be able to go to town and say everything that's in the data. I used to say you really need to understand the article, and that's true, you really need to understand it before you can criticise it. But I'm going to give you another word here. You don't just need to understand it, you need to overstand it. Okay, that's a terrible American coinage which hopefully I'm going to get some money from. I might write a book called Overstanding. You know, overstanding, I mean you need to understand it more than you do when you understand it. You need to go beyond understanding and overstanding, and that's going to take time and effort. Don't expect when you read an article for criticisms to fall out naturally. Sometimes they might. Sometimes you might spot an obvious flaw. But quite often a paper can seem perfectly fine once when on initial reading it seems fine, there's no flaws at all. But it's not until you really get into the paper, properly know what's going on and have overstood it, that you can really that it really starts to bear fruit. You've really got to kind of squeeze that lemon and get as much of the juice out of that as you possibly can before the criticisms will start flowing. So, overstand.